Well, hi everyone, and welcome to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And tonight I have the pleasure of having two wonderful ladies, powerful ladies on the podcast tonight. We have Sue Wallace, who is a certified senior advisor, and we have a special guest. Dr. Melissa Oden has decided to come back and grace us with her presence again, and we're going to be talking about women in stress. So
Mhm.
I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Dr. Oden introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll get into our topic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deidre. This is so fun. I know that we scheduled this many, many weeks ago. And when I opened my planner and saw it was tonight, I was so excited. I was like, yay, I'm going to be with Miss Deidre. So I am Dr. Melissa Oden. I'm the founding CEO of DMO Enterprises LLC. And I have two pieces of my business, very distinct pieces. One is public health consulting. So I have about 3 or 4 different contracts working with some folks in East Texas and working with the American Planning Association, Texas chapter, just doing some public health things. But the other part of my business is health education. And so that's where my Women in Stress program lives. I'm a certified ULA life coach. We'll talk about that in just a second. And so there are just a lot of things in that second half of the business that we're going to kind of be focusing on tonight. So Deidre, is there anything in particular about Women in Stress you want to know about, or do you just want me to launch in?
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for returning because when you were here last time, we got to delve just a little bit in what you were doing. And I know you had some things coming down the pipe.
Yes.
So I guess we can delve right in and then go for
Okay.
it.
Sounds good. Well, I think the last time when I was here, I was working on the virtual course, my online course for women in stress. And what
Mhm.
happened was I decided to pilot it in person because I needed some real time feedback from the ladies who were taking it because I needed to see whether or not it was actually going to flow and work. And so I'm glad I did that because I think what I realized from that is that it can go virtual, it can go evergreen, which eventually it will. But the magic was in that group. The magic was in the live group that I held face to face for almost 8 weeks. And so about 8 weeks. And so I'm doing it again right now. In fact, my next group starts on Wednesday night. And so I'm going to go through this live one more time and then
Okay.
decide whether or not I want to make it evergreen or not. I feel like there is a way to do that. I'm just concerned about the fact that really the magic is like this right here, right? Being able to interact with everybody face to face. So, we talk that program really is based in learning about the female stress syndrome and how that affects women's bodies. The fact that stress is so much more fatal to women than it is to men. I want men, any men that may be out there watching this or listening, just know that stress affects you as well. But the way that a woman's body is physiologically made, our stress impacts us very, very differently, and it kills us at a much higher rate. And so I'm really passionate about helping women lower their stress. We just went through the month of February, just a couple months back, where we looked at women's heart health. It was Women's Heart Health Month. And so I'm super passionate about supporting the American Heart Association in that regard with the red dress and all that good stuff. So that program is well underway. I'm happy to say that the pilot program was a tremendous success. And so a lot of women were able to kind of find their way out of the woods. We use a woods, being lost in the woods analogy for this first component of this program. And so they were able to find their way out. Those women have now graduated into the second part of that program, which is called ULA for Women. And that has to do, I don't know if you guys have read these books or not, but these are the books that this new program is based on. So I became an ULA life coach back in August. And so we are now starting this women's group to help women, now that they're out of the woods and have found their path again, find their ULA life. ULA is a term, it's from the French "ooh la la," and it means a state of, yes, ooh la la. My best friend kind of does this thing. I can't do it. Anyways, so cute when she does it. But she and I are coaches together. But this really is about living your best life. And so the step one of the Women in Stress is to identify what's going on in your body, talk about clinically what's happening, talk about your nutrition, your supplementation, your herbs, your essential oils, your things that will help you get out of that. And then this really is about finding your plan. We call it the ULA plan. to be able to find your way and to find balance in your life. This is actually the book we're using for that group. So if you guys are interested, I can link my link for this book to you. You get it at a fantastic discount.
Is that a
So
workbook?
I'm sorry.
Is that like a workbook?
It's actually it's a book, but we're using it as our workbook. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're not like going through this like word by word, but what we're doing is we're using this as our discussion guide, and I've got some activities that they're doing. It's a very interactive group, so that it's not just me talking to people for 90 minutes every week. We are actually in conversation with each other, making plans, setting goals. It's just very, very, very active. So those are the things that have been going on. If I have discovered that there are many more women out there who are struggling with this than I ever could have possibly imagined. And I thought I was imagining pretty big, but there are a lot of women who last year was just a super hard year for everyone. But in particular, if you are already experiencing the female stress syndrome, what I'm discovering is that these women just kind of hit rock bottom, and they just really needed to find a place to just some hope and some light at the bottom of that well that they just felt like they fell into. And so what we really try to do is focus on, kind of what got them there. And then we don't stay there very long. We really try to focus forward so that we are setting goals and setting plans and helping them determine what they want. I don't know about you, but last year for me was a huge wake-up call in terms of how I was living my life and the things that were going on. And things became very crystal clear to me about where I needed to be going and what I was doing. And as we were talking about these things in this group, it became very clear to me that that's what was happening to a lot of other people as well, is that they really started questioning, why am I living this way? How do I change things? Where do I go? And a lot of folks just don't know what to do. And so we use these principles of ULA in the second part of this group to really help these women focus. And so there are 7 F's of ULA that we talk about, and I always get them out of order. So I'm just going to look in the book and tell you. So
I'm gonna jump in and ask you one question before we get into the 7
absolutely.
F's. So, because it's so many different women, there are moms, there are grandmas, there are entrepreneurs, there are business owners. So, is there a particular, genre of women, there she comes, that you would like to reach, like, say, I don't know, between a certain age group? Because to be honest, a 50-year-old woman thinks different than a 20-year-old woman. So, and it's different stress factors. So I just wanted to, just kind of ask, if I'm thinking about joining your class, what's in it for me?
So what should you be looking for? So in the Women in Stress Reclaiming Your Life group, that is open to women. I really had women ages, let me think, who is my youngest? I probably had, I don't know, 30, 35. And I think my oldest one was 60. Okay. So I had a really great range. The thing about it is that every woman experiences stress. And by the way, we all need some stress. I mean, as a nurse, you know this, right? We cannot live without some level of stress. The problem becomes when that cortisol never stops pumping through your body, and then all of these other things start to go wrong. And you really need to be able to mitigate that somehow. And so medication is not always the way to do that. A lot of times it's up here, that we need to change our thoughts up here.
Lots of times it's saying no.
Yes, I would say probably 98% of the time it's not about meds, it's about up here, right? So in terms of the women in stress piece, all women experience this at some level. And so the nice thing about that particular curriculum is that no matter where you are in the age range, there's something in it for you. Awesome. And I try to make it applicable to everybody, no matter what it is that they're dealing with. I think last year, because of what happened last year, there was a little bit of a unifying factor there, in that it didn't really matter what the age was of the ladies in that group. All they knew was that they were stressed and they were lost and they needed some help. And so, the structure of that group really is not very age specific. yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty much open to everybody. In business, that's not a good answer because you know as well as I do, you're supposed to have your little niche group, right? But I have found that this was the one area that it really applied to all women who were experiencing stress and just needed some help getting out. So millennials, if you're a millennial woman, you know that you've got very different things going on than those of us who are Gen Xers, right? Who are in that over 50 group, which I just went into this last year. I just turned 51 in March, which I can't even believe I'm saying that. But it is true. There's some experience and some wisdom and some maturity there that make our age group a little bit see things a little bit differently than the millennials. And that's not good or bad. It just is.
I think it's great because
Yeah.
we can learn something from each other,
Yeah.
period, as women anyway,
Right.
but it's great to know that I have weaknesses where you're strong and I don't have to worry about my
Right.
weaknesses because you're strong in that area. So
Right.
I think that's
Exactly.
great.
Exactly. And I am a strong believer in mentorship. And so I love it when younger women join my groups because it allows me the opportunity to pay some things forward that were given to me. And Sue is one of those people. Actually, I just have to mention Sue.
She's
Sue and I've known each other a
mine.
very, very long time.
I stole her.
Sue and I met each other before I even got my MSW.
Oh,
And so she's
wow.
been with me. She knew me long before I was doctor or anybody. And,
Oh,
Sue was one of those people that really took me under her wing and mentored me in different ways. And, I'm very grateful to you for that, Sue. But this gives me an opportunity to be able to do those things that were done for me, that really set me on my career path and just to be able to help other people. So, I love it when younger women join because I just truly believe in that power of mentorship and what we can, and what I can learn from them.
right.
I mean, yeah, it goes both
Technology.
ways. It goes both ways. So that's part of the reason why I decided to become an ULA life coach at the end of last summer. About 2 weeks before I moved, I finally got certified. But it's been wonderful because we can take these principles of ULA and really help these women get to the next level. It's not really just about getting them out of that stressful situation. Then it's about moving them to the next place. Where are you going to go now that you're aware of the fact that you're dealing with this particular level of stress? And by the way, these principles are great in helping women deal with stress because it gives them a different paradigm to look through, right? We were talking about it being up here, right? And so a lot of that is about paradigm. So there's 7 different areas that we look at. And one of it, so they call them ULA fitness, finance, family, field, which is your vocation.
Okay.
And by the way, a job is not the same as a vocation. We can talk about that later, but it's your vocation. Faith, friends, and fun. And those are the 7 areas that ULA looks at in terms of how do you balance your life. There's a wheel that we look at, and the wheel represents like the wheel of a car. And if you're off balance in one area, clearly that wheel is not going to roll like it should. So we talk about what do you need to do to pump up that area. We identify where you are in those areas and then what you need to do to pump that up. And then we develop a plan to help you roll that wheel forward so that you're not just saying, okay, I know what I need to do, but I can't get there. We actually give you a plan to be able to do that. And I'm excited to tell you that on July the 7th on International ULA Day, we are rolling out a brand new product that's going to be what they call a disruptive digital product that people are going to be able to become a member of, to be able to have access to all of this information. It's like taking all this information in the book and putting it on steroids. And it's going to be a year-long program. You'll have access to ULA ambassadors like myself. And then there's coaching pieces of it. It is going to be so exciting. They're calling it the 1B7 plan. And that is they're trying to reach 1 billion people with the ULA concepts in 7 years. So as you can see, I've got our little bus as our icon and then our 7 over here.
Little folks.
Yeah. So we got a couple of nods to ULA back here in my studio, but so it's an exciting time, and I can't think of a better time to roll these 2 products out, these 2 women in stress and then the ULA piece, which takes them to the next level, because we are now living in post-pandemic society and people are still trying to figure out what in the world is life going to look like now. Right. And so a lot of people just really need a new paradigm. and they need a new set of tools and skills to be able to get them to where they want to go in this new time. And so I'm super excited about it. I think it is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. I do believe that we can reach that 1.7 billion. We have a bunch of very excited ULA ambassadors that are ready to roll this out on July the 7th. And so just a lot, it's just a very exciting time right now. Super
So
exciting
July
time.
7th, is that, okay, so let's go back to that. So July 7th
Yeah.
is all gonna be, is that a Wednesday?
I
Can't remember.
believe, let me check.
I
I
wanna make
believe you are
sure.
correct. Yes, it is a Wednesday, Wednesday,
Awesome.
July the 7th.
So it's gonna
Yeah,
be,
it's International ULA Day.
okay. So is that when you're rolling out your program or you,
Yeah, so all of that will go live on July the 7th. We are currently recruiting ambassadors to come in and get trained and build their teams before we roll this out, because we will need members to be able to interact with the product. And so, if anyone's interested in any of this, I can share my information at the end. But yeah, the ambassadors are coming online right now. We're getting our training, we're getting ready to go, and then we will be able to start bringing on members and continue to bring on ambassadors starting July the 7th. Everything goes live.
awesome. Sue,
Yeah.
did you have anything you wanted to add for
I'm
this?
excited about that. That just sounds so
Yes.
great, because I am of the later, I'm beyond the baby boomers. Okay, I'll put it that way. So I'm 76 now, but I'm a very healthy 76, and
Yes.
so I'm very interested in because I have stress just like younger people have stress. I've learned to handle it a little bit better through the years, but this is exciting to learn a new tool. I think any woman would benefit from learning anything they could about stress, because like you say, and like you emphasize, stress is a killer for women. And so, but it doesn't just mean health wise, it's a killer for ambition and a lot of other areas in their life. And so that is what's exciting to me, is that it doesn't stress their maybe their career choices and things like that, but it's more the whole woman. And so I like that very much. So.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, because that's one of the things that I was really striving to achieve when I was creating the Women in Stress program, is that it really is a holistic view. We only spend 1 week on the clinical stuff, right? They need to understand what's happening physiologically, but then we do a really super deep dive into those other things that create that world of stress for them. And there's a lot of self-awareness that goes on. I have a lot of really fun activities that actually worked out really well virtually. I normally do those activities face to face. So I had a lot of trepidation about whether or not that was going to work, here in this platform, but it worked beautifully. I mean, it was like magic, and it was great. And so I really want women to be able to have a strong foundation to build on. And ULA does provide, even if you skip the Women in Stress Reclaiming Your Life group and went straight to ULA, you would still get that foundation, but digging down deeper into where those roots are and then building from there seems to make a huge difference for women. It gives them all the tools that I can possibly give them. And that's what's so exciting about ULA, is that I have shared this with all my therapist friends, all my social worker friends, all my counseling friends, because for me, it is probably the best intervention, hands down, that I have ever used to help people. There are only so many things that you can do when you work for an agency as a nurse, a social worker, or a counselor. You are confined by the constraints of that agency. This doesn't confine me. I work for me and I'm partnered with ULA. And so it doesn't confine me. And so we can really, really, really get down to the root of what's going on with people and help them get out of the places that they're in. There's another program that they rolled out this last year that I have not done yet because I just haven't had time, but it's called the Green Gap. The two guys that created this program are passionate about people getting out of debt. And, as they say, there's a certain person out there that everybody kind of gravitates to, and I won't mention his name, but everybody knows who he is. And that person's not for everybody.
Right.
And not every program is for everybody. And so for the folks who don't click with that particular person, we've developed a Green Gap program, and ULA Finance is a part of the regular ULA program, but the Green Gap really gets you down in there and gets you working very quickly to get debt paid off. And some of the stories that we've got coming in from people who have paid off ridiculous amounts of debt are just so inspiring and encouraging. I am very fortunate in the fact that all my consumer debt is now gone. I'm just working on those student loans.
Right.
But with those,
That's
but it's
awesome.
okay. I'm not upset with that. It was an investment in me. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I'm fine with it, but I do need to pay them. So I'm taking those principles and really starting to focus on getting that paid down as quickly as possible. Because right now I won't get them paid off till I'm 95. I don't want that.
Going the way, yes, the way they
I
want
want
to
to
have
get
you
that
go.
done. And I actually have a goal to get that done before my 60th birthday. So I've got 9 years to get a ton.
And you can do it.
Yes,
You can do it.
I'm going to do it.
Consider it done.
but-
Consider it
Yeah.
done.
Done. I'm claiming it, sending it out to the university.
And there's so many people that are just like you that, because of the student debt that they have, it's just like a weight on your shoulders. And so, you need to make a plan and get rid of it.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's the big
Yeah.
stressor right there. So,
Yeah, and like I said, I think I'm a little different in that I look at things differently than most people do about student loan debt. I would not be having this conversation with you right now had I not been able to have access to that money. So I am happily
Right.
paying it back because
Right.
it has given me the freedom to live my dream.
Absolutely.
And now I'm just going to knock that out as quickly as I can and be happy about it because I'm not working for the fan anymore. So
for you.
Absolutely.
Good for you. Mhm.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to wrap up, but before we wrap up finally, what is the best way? Because I know unfortunately by the time this airs, your program, you'll be into another program.
I'll be probably 3 programs down the road. Yeah.
So I want you to be able to, tell people how they can reach you because I know you're going to have continuous programs. Sounds like
Yes.
you got a tremendous need to fill, and I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
So
and
that's-
I would love to, I would love for any of you guys who are interested in becoming an ambassador or even just participating in programs, just to contact me at Melissa, MELISSA, at drmelissaoden.com. My website is drmelissaoden.com, so it's pretty easy to remember. And you can reach me. I actually still have a home telephone. I'm a home office telephone. So it's 817-334-0734. But I will guarantee you I can answer an email a heck of a lot quicker than I will get that phone call. I'm quite sure. So.
And so you also have some Facebook groups too.
I-
So would
I
the
do.
program be going through the Facebook groups or
So-
is that
so
separate?
I do have a private Facebook group for all the ladies that sign up for my courses, but I do have a business page and it's called Health Education Resources Network. So you can reach me there. And then I have a private group that you can join. And that's kind of like my online classroom. And it's called Helping People Heal, HEAL. And that happens to be the tagline of my company, just helping people heal. So the Health Education Resources Network page is public. Anyone can join that. I do Facebook Lives in there all the time. And then when I have to teach classes or things like that, I can go live through Helping People Heal. So if you will just go in there, answer those couple security questions, and I will admit you into the group, and then you can follow us there.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Dr. Oden.
Thank
Miss-
you.
You are so welcome. Sue, do you have any parting words?
I am just so proud of this young lady. And she knows we've known each other a long time, and she just keeps growing and doing more fantastic things. And this is just one of them. And I just applaud you for all the, work you have done and the way you help others. And so, it's just about helping other people be the best they can be, as you said. And so that's what we're all about, every one of us. And so it's so exciting to be with you tonight. So thank you.
You too. I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Yes. And thank you, ladies, for coming back, Dr. Oden and Sue, for joining us during this chat. So thank you. Thank you. Well, again, my name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. I love bringing you reputable resources from your local community. So tune in next time for another amazing chat. Thank you again.